Hi, Jakob. I'm going to give you some feedback regarding your assignment 2 on a comprehensive approach. There's some things I'd like you to consider for future reference and also for just a read through of your assignment. I'm going to be talking about two things here. I'm going to be talking about the global level and the local level. There's sort of two ends of the spectrum in terms of looking at how text communicates. The global level is the structuring of the text. So, is there a clear connection between the paragraphs? Is there a progression that's logical to the reader? Are the paragraphs clearly structured? And all the way down to the local level where we talk about, or when we look at individual sentences, how well it works on a grammatical level in terms of vocabulary, all of those things. What I'd like you to consider in terms of the global level has to do with the way that you begin your text. You start in almost sort of in the middle of nowhere. Or rather, not in the middle of nowhere, you just sort of start without giving any introduction. You've been asked to do three things. Define the Danish contribution as it is now. Define the very sort of the slightly tricky concept of comprehensive approach, and then finally assess in that light the Danish contribution now and in the future. Is it comprehensive or not? Is that an expression of a comprehensive approach to your mind and to your understanding? So those three things obviously connect. How do they connect? That has to be clear to the reader from the beginning. I know that you were asked to touch upon these three issues, but as the writer of the text, it's your job to make sure that the reader understands what the connection is. So bear that in mind when you read through it. Also, if you refer to anything like concepts that haven't been defined, abbreviations, vocabulary that's not defined in the text, consider whether or not the reader in this case would be able to follow your meaning. You're not writing for your teacher, you're writing for like a fictional reader, really. The reason why you're not writing for Carsten Maurup, who is the subject matter expert in this case, is that he already knows what you're saying, probably has a better understanding of it than most of you guys on the course. But the reason why he's asking you to write a paper on this is that he wants to be able to check your understanding, but also your ability to talk about this and make your mind up as an officer about our contribution to Inherent Resolve in the light of what you've learned. So the communication of these issues becomes important because it's not just stating them, but it's actually communicating them in a way that makes it clear how the choices that you've made in terms of what you want to include, what you're not including, and how you argue for your point of view. So write to the reader. Keep your reader in mind. Don't be too sort of... Don't write like to an insider. Write to someone who needs information. And I would say this goes for any text you're writing, whether or not it's a strictly military genre or not. It will always be annoying for the reader to have to refer to external sources to understand concepts or abbreviations or references in your text. So don't assume too much prior knowledge. Assume enough, but not too much. I would also say using bullets or lists in this case. I think you list some things that probably to do with the contribution to Inherent Resolve. Had this been a strictly factual text, bullet points, etc., would be okay. But this is not. This is a sort of a pseudo-academic paper, and in those we tend to want prose. And actually, you almost do write the list in prose, so it would just be a matter of removing the bullet points and writing that as a paragraph or maybe two paragraphs instead. In terms of your paragraphs, I will say that you need to also consider how you structure them. The golden rule for a paragraph is that there is one clear message per paragraph. Often that is expressed in something we call the topic sentence. If you want to look that up, you can just Google topic sentence and you'll find loads of web resources on how to write a paragraph. Sometimes you write paragraphs that are too short. Your thesis, or rather your topic sentence in a paragraph, needs to be supported, so you get so that your claim is valid, basically, so that the reader understands why X, Y, and Z is the case. Sometimes they're a bit on the short side, so have a read through. What you can do is print it out and highlight the topic sentences and see if you've got enough support for them. Also, you can check if you've got 2 topic sentences in one paragraph, then you need to split it in 2. Simple as that. So once you've mastered the structure of a paragraph, it becomes like an essential building block of writing, and you can just basically produce them quite systematically. Okay. So, in summation, in regards to the global level of your text, consider your reader, introduce the text, make sure that there is a very clear connection between the different parts of the text, in this case the 3 sections that you're writing about, the 3 main issues that you're dealing with, and then make sure that you have clear paragraphs that are well structured. In terms of your command of the English language at the local level, there are some grammatical errors, but you are in general quite fluent. You're able to say what you want to say and express yourself in a fairly clear way. In some places it's not quite idiomatic. There's some subject-verb agreement every now and again, but in general there's no communication breakdowns. And it's permissible at this level, Standard Level 3 for writing, to have some errors as long as the meaning is clear, as long as you're expressing yourself so that it is readily understood by the reader. So in that respect, I think you can continue as is, but with the structure and the global level, I would suggest that you pay more attention to that in the future. Yes, that's all I have on my paper here. If you feel like commenting, or if you want me to elaborate, you can either write me an email, or I think you can just comment on my comment on your officer website, and I will get an email with your comment in it. So feel free to do that. Okay, bye.